Welcome to Waypoint Real Talk, where we discuss real estate and your home. Let's get started with your hosts, Aaron Shishilla and Austin Heinz.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Waypoint Real Talk podcast. My name is Aaron Shishilla, and with me I have...
My name is Austin Heitz, and with us we have Christian Sidwell.
Hello.
So Christian is with the Journey Partners team with Berkshire Hathaway Florida Properties Group in St. Petersburg. He recently received recognition for being in the Chairman's Circle Gold, which means $250,000 gross commission. That puts him in the top 4% of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Realtors nationwide. He also has a show on the American Dream TV, which talks about the dream of home ownership and the local community. In addition, through his Facebook group called Taste St. Pete, he brings together a community of food, wine, and art lovers in the St. Pete area. Thank you for joining us, Christian.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Those are pretty awesome accolades, I think. $250,000 gross commission. I don't know when that was. Top 4% of Berkshire Hathaway. Nationwide, that was? Nationwide. And then you're on a TV show.
Yeah.
Okay. Not to mention, I mean, you're on a podcast, the Waypoint Real Talk podcast,
That's
which
right.
I think is way better. But
You don't have a lot going on right now, right?
Yeah. You took a break from the TV to do this.
I did.
Is what I heard.
I did.
Yeah. So anyway, can you tell us what's been going on now in the world of Christian? And then we're going to kind of dive into the background of where you come from.
Okay. So future, 2020, we have big goals, right? So this award last year was pretty fantastic. To reach that 4% network, we did 36 transactions last year as a team. We did 13 million total in sales. So our goal for 2020 is 50 transactions, and we want to do 16 million. So, it's been a slow start simply because of what we're dealing with right now. But in addition to that goal, we are going to be adding someone to the team. We currently have 2 of us on the team. So
Can I join? I'd like to apply.
yeah, we're building the team. So if you're interested,
Awesome.
let me know. You are part of my team, actually.
Ooh.
Waypoint Home Inspections is definitely a part of,
Shout out,
of
plug
our
in.
team. Yes.
Sponsored.
Seriously, I mean, that's one of the things I like having my own real estate business is having partners like Waypoint to assist in this whole transaction, because I certainly can't do home inspections. So I have to go to my experts.
Yeah.
That's Waypoint.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I wish you the best of luck, especially in reaching those 2020 goals. I know a lot of people, I think, had a lot of goals that they wanted to make for 2020. And unfortunately, with the given circumstances, I don't think that, you might be able to come close, or it might be comparable to last year. But unfortunately, with the given situation, it's just really difficult right now.
It really is.
So going back to when I originally talked to you to see if you wanted to do on this podcast, we interviewed you. And from what I learned, and from what Austin learned as well, is you actually jumped from place to place to place. And that's not what a realtor does. They stay in one place and they make that place their home where they sell houses. So can you tell us where you jumped to, where you started from? And we'll dive into how you started again and again.
Sure. 3 major markets. They weren't intentional, but they were just life circumstances that I had to make those moves. But I began my real estate career in 2007 in San Francisco, California. Who would have thought to start a real estate business in a downturn like we had in 2008, 2009? But I was at the peak of my experience in technology. I was working for a software company. It was a startup. It was very stressful, and I knew I needed to make a change. So real estate was my minor in college, and I knew I was going to pursue real estate in some capacity. So with this career change, I decided now's the time to do it. So I got my real estate license, and I had support through 2008 because my first year, I didn't make anything, right? You're just learning, you're building your business. So from there, my partner got a promotion within his medical field. So we moved to Southern California after 4.5 years of selling real estate in San Francisco, building that network.
How did that go, by the way? Were you,
building that
were you
business.
successful in that 4 years? Or
Yes, it really, I started to get a lot of traction,
Right.
right at end of 2009, 2010. We really started to get into a normal market again. And my network grew quickly, and average price point in San Francisco is pretty high. So, you can do 8 to 10 transactions and make a considerable amount of money.
Mhm.
So, the good thing is we stayed in California. We moved to Southern California. We moved to Ventura, and that's about 8 hours south of San Francisco. So I went to a completely different market, completely different board, MLS, different type of architecture, different type of community. The market was different. The concerns for buyers and sellers were different. So I just took the skill set that I had learned in San Francisco and just applied it to building a business again in Southern California.
Mhm.
There's not a lot of referrals from Northern California to Southern California. Referrals typically happen when they go out of state. So I didn't see a lot of my San Francisco base of buyers, clients, sellers that would move to Southern California. It was rare. But the network of agents that I created in San Francisco was important, because if they had someone in their network, either their client that was moving to Southern California, my aunt, my niece, my cousin got a job, whatever, then that would allow me to build my business. So building that network in San Francisco was really important, because then it helped me when I moved to Southern California and started
Right.
selling real estate down there.
It seems like those two markets too would be really difficult and competitive markets.
For sure. Absolutely.
Like you just jumped into real estate in San Francisco, which is, I'm sure, super competitive, and then 4 years, and then you have to up and leave again to Southern California, which
Right.
is again another huge hard market to get into.
Absolutely. And at the same time, I think that was to my benefit, because I was really centering myself around some top producers. I mean,
That's a very good point.
These are
Yep.
some major heavy hitters.
Yeah.
So one thing I can say about real estate is it's not revolutionary. I'm not going to create a product or a system that revolutionizes the way we do real estate or we sell real estate. It's evolutionary. You evolve, right? So you watch other top producers, see what they're doing, see if it works for you, and apply it to your business.
Right.
So that's what I was doing. And I had the opportunity to watch these amazing top producers selling amazing real estate, beautiful architectural homes all over the city of San Francisco. So I would watch these top producers and make myself known to them. I would introduce myself. I would ask them questions if I had an opportunity. Some of them were in my brokerage. Some were in other brokerages. But you watch and learn.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing I can say was really, really important was the weekly broker caravan. As a broker caravan, every Thursday morning, you would put it on your calendar that you would go and see new product. And every agent that was a listing agent and brought a new piece of property to the market would do a broker caravan. It was a great opportunity to not only see the actual home itself, to know more about the value of that home and in that neighborhood, but also to meet other agents, title people, lenders. I mean, broker caravan in San Francisco was probably one of the top things you did in your week. It was very, very important that you participate, because there was so much value to learn as a new agent, what you needed to know about the market. So you could take one little piece of property and you could then go back to your network and say, I want to just tell you about this piece of property. I'm so excited about it. This just came on the market. Let me tell you about the neighborhood. Let me tell you about the house itself. Now, that particular person in your network may not necessarily be the buyer, but you're just telling them something about the market, educating them. That's something of value to them. They might tell somebody else.
Right. So,
So
looking at it was Ventura, California, right?
yes,
Ventura.
Ventura,
How far away is that from Los Angeles? Like in a drive?
1 hour.
1 hour drive.
Yeah.
So,
So Ventura, I would say, is right between south of Santa Barbara, 45 minutes, and 45 minutes north of Malibu, Ventura County, and the city of Ventura is right on the water.
gotcha. Okay. So, did you ever like compete with Los Angeles?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there was a lot of Los Angeles clients
Right.
who were looking for a second home and would buy in Ojai, which is exactly the small town where I live.
And then they would go to you for that? If they were gonna- or-
Yeah. So if someone in Ojai that I knew socially, or part of my network knew I lived there or worked there, they would refer me.
Mhm.
So then the good transition. So going from one market to another market, right now, not only do you have to learn the product, which is the actual concerns of a buyer and seller, because what I sold in San Francisco is going to be very different from a home inspection standpoint, right? From a buyer's concerns, what's going to be different in San Francisco that's going to be different in Ventura. So I had to learn those nuances. Once I did, then you could really start being that expert.
Mhm.
So let me just give you an example. What I was selling in San Francisco, the concern there was earthquake. So am I buying property on bedrock? And they had a scale from A to I think it was D or E. And then E is liquefaction, right? It's just landfill. So if you're buying a home on landfill, you might have a concern about an earthquake.
Right. Right.
Those concerns did not happen in Southern California.
And
So
then
when I
here we
moved-
have hurricanes.
Then we have hurricanes. Other parts of the country have tornadoes, right?
Mhm.
We all have different natural disasters that we have to be concerned about.
Mhm.
So that's the difference between San Francisco and then now Ventura. Now I had to learn what are the concerns for buyers and sellers in Ventura. What do I have to be aware of from a standpoint of the health and well-being of the home, right?
Right.
Pest inspection is there, what's underneath it,
Mhm.
the home, the foundation, how's it constructed. The thing we dealt with when I was there in Southern California was 5 years of a drought. So we had to deal with fires.
Oh.
So
Okay.
how do you make sure that you make a barrier around your home that's not going to catch fire?
They had to make a barrier around their home.
Well, how do you do that, right? You can. Or what are the concerns you need to do
Right.
to safeguard something like that happening?
Okay.
The community as a whole, I guess you could
Right.
say, not just the actual property.
Okay. Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha.
so then after, 4.5 years selling real estate in San Francisco, moved to Southern California, spent 4 years building my business there, and then a career change for my partner brought us to Florida.
Mhm.
So again, now I'm in a third market and building another network, starting pretty much all over again.
Were you with Berkshire this entire time?
No.
No.
So in San Francisco, I was a locally owned, locally run brokerage. It was a small boutique firm called Paragon Real Estate Group.
And then what about Southern
And then I moved to
California?
Southern California. I did the same thing. I went with a small, locally owned, locally run brokerage called Troop Real Estate.
So why the change now to Berkshire?
So when I moved here to this market, and that's probably another thing that for new agents, you really need to interview the brokerage in your market to really see what's a good fit for you. So what our strategy was when we were looking to join a brokerage, we looked at 4 top national big brokerages, and then we looked at 2 local small brokerages, boutique brokerages, to see if there was a better fit. And really, we kind of looked at our business model, and I say we, I mean my partner, to see what was going to be the better fit. Was it a national brokerage like Berkshire, KW, some of the other big retailers, franchises, or if we wanted to go with a smaller brokerage. So we decided Berkshire because it offered everything we were looking for: commercial, property management, sales, residential sales, and luxury sales.
So what questions do you ask them besides, okay, what do you offer? What do I get from being a part of this brokerage? What questions do you ask them?
So, as a seasoned agent coming from California and spending 8 years in California, what I was looking for is probably a little bit different than an agent who's brand new, right? Who just got licensed. Their needs could be definitely different than that mine were. But for us, it was just the option to sell commercial real estate or have a commercial division within our brokerage that I could refer one of my clients to, or property management and residential sales. That was important to us because we wanted to do all three, or at least we wanted to have it within our brokerage, in our network, that we could have all three. One thing that's important to my partner and I was we wanted to make sure that we said yes to pretty much any need that our client had, right? So if our client and we're working with and we're selling them real estate and they're maybe buying a single family home, but then they're like, you know what, we're thinking about, I have a commercial piece of property in New Jersey. It's been in the family. I need to sell it. I want to do a 1031 and I want to buy a commercial piece of property down here in the Tampa St. Pete area. Can you help me? Our answer should be absolutely. Yes, we can help you. And within the Berkshire network and Florida Properties Group, we have a commercial division and we have commercial agents that John and I network with. So we would call that commercial agent, they would come in, sit at the table, and we would talk to our client. So then what it shows to our client is that we can help them.
Right.
Whatever their needs are, commercial, residential, or property management.
So then with a new agent, I think you're about to cut me off. With a new agent, Keller Williams could be like really good because of their structure and like education.
Right.
At least that's what I've heard. Well, Berkshire has really good education.
We
as
do.
well.
We do.
Yeah.
We have Berkshire. It's called BHU. It's
Right.
university.
Yeah. This guy teaches at it.
I do.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a good time.
Eric Kokkonen does it. He's great. So that's true. That's a great question. So
Right.
as a new agent, education is going to be really important.
Yeah.
And that's why Berkshire Florida Properties Group specifically has a Berkshire Hathaway University. And it's specifically 3 months of education. Now, John and I were responsible for doing that. We had to go through the training. We didn't do it as extensively as a new agent would.
But you have to go through.
But we do. Yeah.
Right.
And so that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up, Aaron, because as a new agent, you would ask that question.
Yeah.
Can you
What
tell me
education?
what do you have available? And how extensive is that education for a new agent?
Okay.
So that wasn't so necessary, again, to John and I, because, again, 8 years of selling real estate in California, that wasn't a top priority for us.
Right.
Property management was another thing that John and I wanted to get into. And so we knew short-term rentals because we own short-term rentals ourselves, VRBO and Airbnbs, and we wanted to do that here for our clients. So again, if this client called me and said, I live in Indiana, it's my primary residence, I own a business up here, I'm not going to retire for 5 to 6 years, but I'd like to buy a beach house,
An Airbnb.
second home for me and my family, but when we're not here, can we do short-term rentals? Maybe we do Airbnb. And because John and I own them ourselves and we manage short-term rentals in wine country in California, we were like, sure, absolutely. Again, the answer is yes.
Right.
So yes, we can do commercial. Yes, we can do property management. And yes, we can do residential
Awesome.
sales.
So we're going to cut you off right here.
Yeah.
Here's an alarm now.
Yeah, I was going to do it earlier, but you're talking about such great stuff. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Okay,
Because all this is good content.
So are we transferring over right now? What time are we at?
Yeah, so we're at 18 minutes.
We're at 18 minutes. Okay. So then what we're going to do is we're going to place pretty much a black screen right now and then kind of say intermission.
Yep.
And Austin's got this awesome game for you.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to play this awesome game and I'm going to let him kind of talk about it and say the whole spiel. Okay. But I'm going to get up for one moment.
Okay.
So we're going to play a game.
Okay.
And the name of the game is Florida Man or Woman or Not Florida Man or Woman. And I'm going to read you 5 news headlines.
Okay.
And you have to guess, does that news headline relate to a Florida man or woman or not a Florida man or woman? And if you get 3 out of the 5 correct, you're going to win a big prize.
Okay.
All right? No peeking at my computer.
Okay.
It's a huge prize.
It's a big prize. It's a good one.
Okay. So I have to determine based on this news
On the news headline, if you think
whether
it's a
it was
Florida man or woman.
or
Not a Florida man or woman.
Can we-
non-resident.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we hit pause for just one moment?
Sure.
Can we talk about for like when we were talking about this podcast? I think were you our first guest that we were going to interview?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, he was. And I was going to say, okay, well, you're actually going to act out whatever the Florida man or
Right.
woman does for your birthday,
Yep.
which was I would have to dress up as a woman with a dress. And you would slap me with chili.
Oh,
Because
right.
you slapped a woman with chili,
Right.
apparently, according to your Florida man or woman.
That's right.
And then you're like, well, that doesn't appear to the journey partners
It doesn't fit our brand.
our
Yeah.
brand.
No.
So instead, I'm just gonna get in my underwear and drive down
my
St.
bike.
St. Pete in my underwear. How does that affect your brand? We're gonna have to talk about that after the
Yeah.
game.
Okay.
Okay, but
Yep.
anyway,
That'll be a
just wanted to
future
bring that up.
recording that we make. Yeah.
Add-ons
Yep.
behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
All right, Christian, are you ready to play?
I am ready to play.
Here's your first headline. Woman says she crashed because she saw a Sasquatch.
Non-Florida woman resident.
You got it.
All right.
Not a Florida woman. So in 2017, a northern Idaho woman told police she crashed into a deer because she was distracted by a Sasquatch in her rearview mirror. Second one, man charged with pouring ketchup on his girlfriend.
Florida man.
That is a Florida
That is a
man.
Florida
Yes. This happened in Pinellas Park.
Oh,
This is in
really?
your area,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Dude, that area I'm telling you is sketchy.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of stuff that comes out of that area.
Yep. A Florida man is facing a misdemeanor charge for allegedly pouring ketchup on his girlfriend while she slept. And they've been together for 11 years.
What a jerk.
Yeah.
You never
Yeah.
interrupt a woman's
Rude.
sleep.
Yeah.
Rude.
All right. So you're 1 for 1. Or no, you got both of them right. Sorry. Sorry, you got 2 so far. All right. Next one. Man eats 30,000 Big Mac hamburger.
That's a Florida man.
That is not a Florida man.
What?
No.
Oh.
It was a retired Wisconsin prison guard.
Oh,
Ate his
jeez.
30,000th Big Mac hamburger.
Gosh, it's a heart attack waiting.
Next
Yeah.
one. Man arrested for shoplifting after job interview at Kohl's.
Florida man.
That is a Florida man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Happened in Spring Hill in 2018. After he showed up for the interview, he went over to the shoe department, found a pair of Nike sneakers without a security tag, went to his car to get a Kohl's bag, and came back and put them in a Kohl's bag.
He was gonna resell it.
I
Yep.
don't think they hired him.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
After that interview, it was a big no-no.
So,
Sorry.
Christian, your
Yes.
big prize
Yes.
was going to be a dollar bill that we found on the ground. However, I forgot it in my backpack, so I'm going to send you an Apple Pay for $1.
That's
What-
great.
That,
Thank
that
you.
ruins the point of the dollar, man. I found that
I'm
when I was walking the other
We
day.
can keep it, or we can throw it back on the ground for someone else to find.
We got to give it to Christian.
Okay.
It's the big prize. It's in your backpack right here.
It is, yeah.
Oh,
Thank you.
I don't feel like getting up to get it.
someone's lazy.
We can give it to
Okay.
him afterwards.
All right. All right. Anyway, moving from the game of this Florida man or woman,
Yeah,
which you
that's
actually
good.
won. You won the big prize.
Thank you.
Yep.
You won a crumpled up dollar. Congratulations. And during this coronavirus thing, I'm pretty sure it has the COVID-19 on it.
And I won't take it then. Sorry.
You won't take it.
We'll dip it in
Oh,
hand
thanks.
sanitizer.
You have
for
hand
You're
sanitizer.
welcome.
Just
Yeah.
sanitize the dollar.
That's true. Okay.
All right, Austin. So you're tracking time.
I am.
Okay, awesome. So now we're getting to the latter half, right? And we joked about how you coming on. How is that a part of the Journey Partners brand of riding in your underwear? Can you answer that question real quick? Like just
It was
solid
just
one.
an idea. I don't think it actually really represents the brand. That's true.
So what?
It was just
no,
a dare. It was just. I thought it was a little bit more appropriate that it was doing something, maybe making more fun of myself instead of like physically harming you.
I mean, you wouldn't like
I mean-
slap me really hard with the chili.
He just
Well-
thought you wouldn't be able to take it. Is what I All right, we need to move on for the
we're
sake of
gonna
time.
we're gonna edit that one out.
Aaron's going to keep coming back to this.
All right. So you were in San Francisco for 4 years.
Correct.
Started at the downturn, 2008. You built somewhat of a network there.
did.
Then you moved to Southern California, and you stayed there for another 4 years.
A little bit over 4, about 5 years. Yes.
Yeah. So then now, again, you have to move to Tampa, Florida,
Right.
which bomb-ass city. Well, St. Petersburg is where you're at.
Correct.
So you're in St. Petersburg to where you're starting again, and you've been here for how long?
4 years.
Another 4 years. So where are you moving to next?
Yeah, right. We're staying here.
You're staying here.
We're
That's
staying
great
here,
news.
yeah.
That's great news.
We're not going anywhere.
So starting again now, obviously you're the most successful that you have been. I'm assuming, yeah. How did you do it? How do real estate agents get these big clients that have second homes with Airbnbs that are competing in Southern California? California.
Yeah.
How are you competing against these people when you're starting brand new every 4 years?
Well, it's about your network. It's really about your network. It's who you know. It's just networking with those people and just staying connected with them. So I'll just give you the specific example of our client that bought the beach house. Is a friend of ours from Indianapolis, and John's born and raised in Indianapolis, so they have that connection, right? They both went to the same high school, which is Cecina. It was a private parochial school. So immediately there's a connection, right? They both went to the same high school, different times, but they both went to the same school. They grew up in the same area. So he felt very comfortable once he was referred to us to buy something in St. Petersburg. What also solidified that is letting him know that we own property in wine country and we manage an Airbnb from Florida. So he knew that we, as homeowners ourselves of a piece of property that is out of state, what the concerns were as a homeowner. So he felt very comfortable with us.
Right.
That solidified the relationship.
So you just have to have your network and then keep on growing and talk to everyone and stay in touch with every single one.
Absolutely.
Now, other people we've talked to, you know, we had our first one, which was Christopher Fryer.
Yep.
And he was amazing at customer service.
Yes.
And that's, I mean, if it was 2 a.m. and he was getting a phone call, he was answering it.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. And then Crystal Brady was talking about niches and how every realtor has like a niche
Correct.
that they're in. And she said that she stays in touch with her network through postcards, through mail. Now, how do you market yourself and stay in touch with your network? I know you have this awesome Instagram that you're doing amazing with. Now, what else do you do?
Great question. Similar to the two guests you were just talking about, we implement those into our business as well. So I can just talk specifically. There are several organizations that we are members of, and we stay connected to those other members. So the one organization that we've been members with for 3 years since we moved here to St. Pete is called NAGLREP, National Association of Gay and Lesbian Real Estate Professionals. And that's everybody from title, escrow, mortgage, home inspection. And you don't necessarily have to be in the LGBT community, but LGBT friendly. So this is a national organization. There's over 700 members of this organization.
Wow.
And they have a conference every single year. Started in Southern California. The conference 3 years in a row was in Fort Lauderdale, and then they moved it to Palm Springs. So I attended, after being a member for a couple months, I attended the conference and met 600 agents from other cities and states across the U.S. That's a network. They're other LGBTQ members of the real estate business. So if someone in Orlando, Florida, whom I met, has a client who's relocating from Orlando to Tampa or St. Pete, he may be in the LGBT community or LGBT friendly,
Right.
says, hey, I've got an agent in St. Pete you should connect with. That's one network.
So should
The
it...
Berkshire network is another example, right?
Right.
So I'm a part of a larger brokerage. Within Berkshire Hathaway, I'm part of the luxury division and corporate relocation and property management. So that network right there, Berkshire Hathaway is not only a national company, international. So if someone's relocating from Scotland and they're coming to St. Pete for a job, if there's a Berkshire agent selling their home in Scotland, that person's moving to St. Pete, they need to buy. So the Berkshire network. There's trying to think of another network that we're a part of. So those networks are this kind of like your ecosystem, right? We have an ecosystem, as I just mentioned earlier at the beginning of the podcast, within our businesses right here.
Right.
My title person, my mortgage person, and my home inspection company. That's my ecosystem in St. Pete that our team has created. Well, beyond that, we have other networks, these other organizations that we're a part of.
And you use direct mail and stuff like that too, or no?
Not so much. I did most recently when I just came back from Nashville, Tennessee for the National Sales Convention for Berkshire Hathaway,
Mm-hmm.
all the agents that I met at that conference
Mhm.
and had good conversations with, I sent them a postcard. The flip side of the postcard was our name, team name, our social media. We accept referrals. We're corporate relocation. We're luxury. And then on the flip side was this huge picture, a map from 1935 of St. Petersburg. And it said St. Pete in a really cool text.
Right.
So they get this postcard, it says St. Petersburg, and then they flip it on the side, on the back, and they see Journey Partners.
So they know exactly Journey Partners, St. Pete.
And then I write, pleasure to meet you at the sales conference. I enjoyed our conversation. Let's stay connected.
Right.
So now those 25 agents that I met at this conference expands my network. First time I've ever met them, my network is getting larger.
Mhm.
So from Nagel Rep, right, and now the Berkshire network, that network is growing. The people that I'm meeting is growing. And then I worked in San Francisco, right, for 4 years.
Mhm.
I know all of the real estate agents in San Francisco. Not all of them. I'm elaborating, but I have still so many good friends, and I still have a network of agents in San Francisco.
Mhm.
I can pick up the phone and I can call them. I have people in Southern California, lots of real estate agents that I'm still connected with there.
Mhm.
And they're looking at my social media. I'm looking at their social media. So the network grows and grows and grows and grows exponentially. And staying in contact with that network is really important.
Mhm.
And being that referral person to them, saying, I have a client who's moving to Salt Lake City, Utah. I have an agent there. I can pick up the phone and call.
Mhm.
There's another network I want to add to that, American Dream TV. American Dream TV is a national TV show streaming on Roku, Amazon, and Apple TV every Sunday at 12 noon. I am one of several agents throughout the U.S. There's 52 cities that this TV show
Is in.
is in.
Mhm.
And so there's agents in all of those cities. Now, some cities have multiple agents. Some have 8, some have 10 in that market. Tampa, we have 4 right
Mhm.
now that are hosts of the TV show. I should say 3 in Tampa and then 1 in St. Pete, just myself. So that's another network.
Mhm.
So if I had a client who's relocating to Des Moines, Iowa, I might have an American Dream TV host who's there, and I can refer them to them,
Mhm.
and vice versa. Someone's coming from New York City and looking to buy a second home in St. Pete. There's a host in New York City who is on the TV show and has a network. So I'm a part of American Dream TV network as well.
So as a new agent,
Mm-hmm.
I would want to, if I'm a theoretical new agent, I'd want to just get involved with everything I can. And you really have to be a people person. You really have to keep talking with people.
That's important, yes. So your other guest talked about a niche. Think of the things that are really important to you. So I think that you find something that's really passionate to you.
Mhm.
At the beginning of the show, you made the intro that we have Taste St. Pete. My business partner and I really, really enjoy wine, food, and art. So those are 3 things that we're passionate about.
Mhm.
Now, Taste St. Pete could really be anything. Could be architecture, could be interior design. It also touches a little bit on travel. So Taste could really expand to a bigger audience, if you would. It's not just food, wine, and art. But those are the things that we're really passionate about and we enjoy.
Mhm.
And when we're traveling, we go to a great restaurant, we post on Taste St. Pete.
Mhm.
I'll give an example. Just went to Nashville, Tennessee for this conference and went to a James Beard Award chef who works at a restaurant called Husk. This beautiful 1910 restored home. And it is a beautiful restaurant and great food. So I went to that restaurant and then I talked about it. I blogged about it on Taste St. Pete. So even though it says St. Pete, it's just not St. Pete. It could be anything.
Mhm.
We visited a museum when we were in Miami and we posted about the artwork and the exhibit that we saw there. So what I would say to answer your question is that as a new agent, find something you're passionate about and talk about that. Find that as your network.
Mhm.
Something as simple as I have a dog. I love dogs. I go to the dog park. That's my network.
Yeah.
Right? So a new agent who has a dog and wants to walk their dog, go to a dog park. Start meeting people in your dog park. Talk to them. Meet them. Talk about real estate. talk about your involvement in real estate, and engage in a conversation. So the network doesn't necessarily mean what I just described. It could be as big as Berkshire Hathaway, an international network. It could be as big as an organization as Nagel Rep, where there's 700 members. It could be as big as American Dream TV, which is 52 cities. It could be that big of a network, but it could also be your dog park.
Right.
Another one, I'm a part of Orange Theory. I love Orange Theory. And everyone in my 6 o'clock class and my 7 o'clock class has become my community. It's can become my network.
Yeah.
And those people I've met like to run. So I run with them. So that's kind of my network. So I'm just, expanding on that. They know I sell real estate. They know I'm a part of American Dream TV. That's my network. So things that are really passionate for you, find that as your network. Build from there. And as a new agent, exponentially, it'll grow bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Real estate sounds fun now. You just do whatever you want.
And you make money.
You make money. You say, I love
Kristen's like,
cruises.
"Isn't that easy?"
I'm just going to go on cruises. And then you meet the network of cruise people.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
That's
and now,
correct.
okay, so concluding here. Now you're doing, what is it? You're kite surfing?
Oh, yes. So I was sharing with you earlier is that,
Yeah.
After living in California for 15 years, the outdoor activities I enjoyed were mountain biking, hiking, and snowboarding. Well, Florida doesn't have mountains to that size. So I have to switch up kind of my whole idea of what I want to do outdoor. So our largest natural resource is water. So I'm looking at all these different types of sports you do on the water. So the one I'm interested in is kiteboarding.
You could go down St. Pete with your underwear.
That's
That's a thing.
I could do that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be doing that next month.
The underwear thing or the
kiteboarding.
Kiteboarding. Okay.
Keep coming back to that.
Sorry.
Yeah, so kiteboarding. I mean, that's one of many different things you can do in Florida. I mean, there's so many different sports and outdoor activities, so much to do. We just have to kind of switch depending on where you live or what really resonates with you. Could be fishing, could be boating, jet skiing. I mean, there's a myriad of things you can do outside in Florida in this good weather. So one of them is kiteboarding. So I'm going to be doing a kiteboarding lesson, and then I'm going to ride for 2 hours. Fingers crossed. So that's my goal.
That's awesome. Well, I think that pretty much concludes the awesome insight that Christian Sidwell brings with us.
Cool.
Now, Christian, where can people find you? Where can they find you? Where can if I want to watch
Your
this?
address, your,
If you see
not your
someone-
address.
If you see someone on a bike in their underwear, that's probably me, right?
Are you
follow
sure?
Christian.
The
Yep.
Florida man, new headline. Florida
Yes.
man.
Arrested
Yeah.
for indecent exposure.
Oh goodness.
That doesn't really fit with the Journey Partners brand either.
I
So
thought it
maybe
does.
I should think of something
Yeah.
else.
Maybe.
Hey, you get a lot of publicity. Network of prisoners.
That's a new one.
That's a new one.
It's a
They
new
all
network.
need homes after they come out of prison, right?
True.
Yeah.
More than
You're
happy
welcome
to
for
help.
that idea.
More happy to
So
help.
Facebook, they can find you on Amazon, the Prime.
Oh, no. Well, yeah. So
With
the
the
TV
TV?
show is American Dream TV. You can stream that on Apple,
Mm-hmm.
Roku, or Amazon Fire.
Mhm.
Sundays at noon. Look for Tampa or Tampa Beaches is the name of our
Area.
show.
Okay.
And so I've been on the show for a year. I've
Mhm.
done several episodes, and it talks about the lifestyle and the culture and a little bit about real estate in the Tampa St. Pete area.
Awesome.
So
And
check out American Dream TV.
yeah, and website, Facebook, where's the best way to find you there?
Our Facebook group is probably the best.
And that's Journey-
Partners Team.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
social media also, in addition to Facebook, is our Instagram. Same thing, Journey Partners Team. Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Florida Properties Group. We are located in downtown St. Pete. We're on Beach Drive is our office. If you want to reach out to us, social media is probably the best way.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming, man. You
Appreciate
have
you.
some awesome insight. When we did the initial interview, I mean, it's amazing that you transferred over for every 4 years to 3 different places.
That's not going to happen, though.
That's
I'm
not
staying
gonna,
here.
You're staying here.
I'm staying
That's
here.
End of the road. Okay.
Appreciate it.
Well, thank you again
You're
for
welcome.
coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Christian.
you, everyone, for watching, and tune in probably next week, right? We're going to have
Sure.
another one. Yeah.
I hope so.
I hope so, too.
Otherwise, you're coming back.
I would
Coming
love
back.
to.
We're just going to have to
I would
come
love to.
again and again.
I love telling the story.
Yeah.
I love
Awesome.
real estate.
Awesome.
both.
Thank you.
Yeah.